कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। कृष्णलीलामृतसार तार शत शतधार रसदीक बहे जहाते से चैतन्य लीलाय सर्वोरक्षय मनहं सचरातहाते। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्तवृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्तवृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्त। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome back. So we are in Adilila chapter 5, discussing glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram. And last time we discussed Sri Chaitanya Gosai Sarva Avatar Lila Kari Sabare Dikhar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he performed his pastimes in Navadvip Dham as the son of Jagannath Mishra, even though he was born as a Brahmana son, but he was the source of all the incarnations. Therefore, he sometimes played the pastime of Lord Varahadev, sometimes played the pastimes of Lord Shiva, sometimes pastimes of even Lakshmi Devi, because all these plenary expansions of the Supreme Lord are within him. Therefore, it was possible for him to perform the Leela, the pastimes of these plenary persons. Therefore, এই রূপে নিত্যানন্দ অনন্ত প্রকাশ সেইভাবে কহে মুই চৈতন্যের দাস. So, Nityananda similarly has unlimited incarnations in transcendental emotion. He feels himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. So, in that way, further, how Nityananda Prabhu or Balram serves the Lord as his servant, not only his servant, sometimes by the Leela Shakti, he also performs this role of a superior to Krishna. So how does it happen? Now, Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami discusses those exclusive pastimes where sometimes Lord Nityananda Prabhu also becomes bewildered to see the display of the mystic potency of Lord Krishna. So these are the releasing pastime today we're going to hear, starting with text number 135 in chapter 5. Kabhu Guru, Kabhu Sakha, Kabhu Bhritya Lila, Purve Jena Tina Bhave Braje Kailal Khela, Vrisahaya Krishna Sane, Mathamathiram, Kabhu Krishna Karitar Par Sambhaha, আপনাকে ভৃত্য করি কৃষ্ণে প্রভু জানে কৃষ্ণের কলার কলা আপনাকে মানে. So here Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying Kabhu Guru, Kabhu Sakha, Kabhu Bhritya Lila. In Vrindavan pastime, sometimes Sri Baladev assumes the role of Guru, means superior to Krishna, and Kabhu Sakha. Sometimes he will perform the pastime of his friend, and Kabhu Bhritya sometimes his servant. So, Purve jeno tin bhave braje kaila khela. Purve means in Vrindavan pastime, this is how Baladev, he would sometime serve Sri Chaitanya, serve Krishna by assuming the role of being Guru to Krishna, sometimes being his servant, sometimes being his friend. In a similar way, sometimes Sri Nityananda Prabhu serves Lord Chaitanya as his Guru, sometimes as his friend, and sometimes as his servant, just as Lord Balaram played with Lord Krishna in these three different modes in Braj. So we are discussing simultaneously Chaitanya Tattva and Krishna Tattva. You should also keep this thread connected in your mind. Here, even though we are discussing, you can see Chaitanya Tattva, Chaitanya Lila, but at the same time, because it is concerning Baladev or Nityananda Prabhu, that's why simultaneously both these narrations are discussed. So now, whatever has been said in text number 135, the example of such philosophy have been given by Srila Krishna Kaviraj Goswami in text number 136 and 37. Then subsequently, he gives reference to Srimad Bhagavatam to substantiate those points. So, what are the examples that sometimes Balaram used to perform the role of a guru, sometimes as a friend, sometimes as a servant? So these examples are given. Vishahaya Krishna Sane Mathamathiran Kahu Krishna Karitar Par Sambhavan. Playing like a bull, Lord Balram fights with Krishna head to head. And sometimes Lord Krishna massages the feet of Lord Balram. So here, in the first verse, Vrisahaya Krishna Sane Matha Mathira. Means sometimes Krishna and Balram in their childhood pastime, they will be behaving with each other like friends. We have seen like small children in the village actually, this kind of pastimes are seen, even commonly seen amongst the children of the villages. So sometimes Krishna and Balram, they would cover their body with black blanket and they will be crawling and then making the sound of a bull, and they will be hitting each other's head, and this is the pastime of bull. Just like two bulls, they sometimes come and fight together with their head, with their horns. So this Krishna and Balaram sometimes, out of friendly behavior, they would also display such kind of pastimes that Krishna and Balaram, they will bring their heads together just like bulls. And sometimes Kahu Krishna Karitar Pada Sambahan. Sometimes Krishna would massage the feet of Lord Balaram. Then, Apanake Bhityakari Krishna Prabhujane Krishna Kalar Kalapana Mane. He considers himself a servant and knows Krishna to be his master. Thus, he regards himself as a fragment of his plenary person. So these things are clarified in the Bhagavatam verses, which is referred from the 10th canto as follows. Vishayamano nardan Vishayamano nardanto Jujudhate parasparam Anukritya rutaijantum Cheratu prakrito jatha. Acting just like ordinary boys. They played like roaring bulls as they fought with each other, and they imitated the calls of various animals. So here, while commenting on this verse, so Sridhar Swami he comments to this Anukritya Rutir Jantun Cheratu Prakrito Yatha. Anukritya means imitating. What? Rutahi. Rutahi means Sabdair Jantun Hamsa Mayuradin. These are very, very, very beautifully explained. This Krishna and Balram, in their childhood pastime, as they went to the Vrindavan forest, herding the cows, sometimes they would climb up the trees and imitate the sound, the voice of different birds. Sometimes in the ground also, they will imitate the sound of a swan, a peacock. So in that way, this is how they enjoyed their pastimes. Prabhupada said this, and the following quotations are from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 11, verse number 40, and 10th canto, chapter 15, and text number 14. Kochit krida parisantam gopot sangopavarhanam swam visramaya taryam pada sambhahanadibhi. Sometimes when Lord Krishna's elder brother, Lord Balaram, felt tired after playing and lay his head on the lap of a cowherd boy, Lord Krishna himself served him by massaging his feet. So it is said, we have seen also amongst children, when they come together and they start playing, after some time, they become tired. When they become tired, then what they will do? One boy will use the lap of another boy just like a pillow, and they will rest for a while to become freed from their tiredness. Right? They want to become again energetic. That's why they will rest sometime. So Balram sometimes after playing, he would feel tired and he would use the lap of another boy as a pillow. He would take rest. Then Krishna would come massaging the feet of Balaram. Then the next verse, this explains the amazement of Lord Baladev. When Baladev saw the mystical potency of Lord Krishna, he was amazed at that particular pastime which took place for around 1 year in the holy land of Braj. Keyamba kuta ayata daiviva narjuta suri prayo mayastume bhartu nanya mepi vimohini. Who is this mystic power? And where has she come from? Is she a demigod or a demoness? She must be the illusory energy of my master, Lord Krishna. For who else can bewilder me? So this is a nice pastime narrated in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is when Brahma actually wanted to see the playful pastime of Krishna. Therefore, he stole the cups and covered friends of Krishna. And as we know, according to some, when Krishna reached 4 years of age, he was given permission to go to the Vrindavan forest for herding the cows. So that particular day, when Lord Brahma stole the cups and friends of Krishna, Balaram was at home. He did not go to the pasturing ground. So after Brahma stole all the cows and cups, we understand Krishna, he manifested himself into the form of the cows and cups exactly the same way. How different cows, different calves had bodily color, different boys, what kind of stick they used to wear, what kind of dress they had. As it is, Krishna manifested himself in the form of the cows and calves, and that day he returned to Braj. And as days passed on, it was a surprising thing happened to all these Brajavasis, that their attachment to their children increased. And also the calves who were actually in Krishna, cows were very much attracted to those calves. So for 1 year, gradually, the attachment, the loving affection of the Brajavasis to their son increased, and they were becoming more and more attracted to Krishna. Even the cows, they had given birth to another calf, but still they had lot of attachment for the calf, which was given birth before. Now, those calves are Krishna. So, one day, it was like after almost 1 year, only 5 or 6 days was left to complete 1 year. So, on that particular day, Krishna, Balram, and other cowherd boys, they brought their calves to the foothill of Govardhan. And the Gopas, the elderly Gopas, they were herding the cows on the top of the Govardhan hill. All of a sudden, the elderly Gopas, they saw all these cows keeping their tail up, running very heavily towards the foothill of Govardhan. And they found these children had brought the calves near the Govardhan hill. So when the elderly Gopas, they saw this incident, first of all, they became very angry with the children. Why did you bring the calves so closer? Now we are trying to stop the cows, but we can't control them. Because of you guys, now these cows has gone out of our control. So they became very angry. As cows from the top of the Govardhan hill started rushing towards the calves, they were grazing on the foothill of Govardhan. So the Gopas also followed them. And Balram at that time was sitting by placing his hand on the shoulder of Krishna. And they are watching this beautiful pastime. And what happened, Balaram saw that all these calves, they started rushing to their calves and they started licking the calves and started giving their milk to these calves. And the Gopas, who were so much angry at their children, as they came near their children, they gave up their stick, their anger was subsided, they embraced their children, they also started smelling the head of their children out of deep parental affection. So when Balaram saw this, that time he recited this verse, Keyamba Kutaya Daiviva Narjutasuri. Where from this mystic power come? Huh? Actually, is it the mystic power of a human being or of a demigod or that of a demoness? Huh? Actually, he is saying, Atra Anya Maya na sambhavati. There is no other mystic power possible. Why? Balaram is saying, Jato mamapi mohavartate. Since this mystic power has put me into illusion, I am confused, I am bewildered. How can it be possible any other Maya, any other mystic potency can bewilder me? Definitely, that's why he's saying, this illusory energy must be of my master's illusory energy, Lord Krishna, for whose else can bewilder me? That means Baladev cannot be bewildered by the mystic power displayed by any human being or even by any demigods or even any demons. So that is what Baladev is confirming, that here he is saying he is my master, means he is accepting Krishna as his master. So if you see the previous verse, kare pada sambahan, sometimes Krishna also massaged the feet of Balaram. And here Balaram is saying, he is my master, Krishna is my master. So if Krishna massages the feet of Lord Balaram, then how come Krishna is Balaram's master? Or you can say, when Krishna massages the feet of Balaram, then how can you explain Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Not only this, many other times we have seen, like in Vrindavan pastime, when Krishna was a small baby, he would cry for the milk from Mother Yashoda. How can we explain the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Lord of the entire universe, is crying for the milk from the mother? So all these points need to be clarified. For acharyas, they have explained that by the influence of Leela Shakti, that means Krishna is Rasika Shekhara. He is always engaged in relishing his sweet pastime with his devotees in different mellow, in different relationships. So if Krishna desires to relish the relationship of being a servant by accepting another devotee who are the expansion of his Swarupa Shakti, then by Leela Shakti, that devotee will be in a superior position. Without his knowledge, Leela Shakti will influence Leela Shakti is going to influence the devotee who is going to act like Krishna's father, Krishna's guru. It's not that they are superior to Krishna, but the Leela Shakti is making them think like that. So therefore, Krishna still remains the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if you see in text number 142, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Ekole Ishwar Krishna Arasabhavritya Jare Jaiche Nachaise Toiche Kare Nritya. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the way he makes his plenary persons dance, they also follow Krishna's will. That means, as I explained, if Krishna sometimes wants to release the pastime of accepting Baladev as his superior, as his guru, then the Leela Shakti going to inspire Lord Baladev to act in that consciousness so that Krishna can release the pastimes of massaging the feet of Lord Baladev. So in this way, Krishna's position of being the personality of Godhead is not reduced. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport 140, the playful pastimes of the Lord caused suspicion in the mind of Lord Brahma, and therefore Lord Brahma, to taste Krishna's lordship, stole all the Lord's calves and cowherd boys with his own mystic power. So Krishna all the calves and boys in the field. Lord Brahma's thoughts of astonishment, Lord Balaram's thoughts of astonishment, 13th chapter, text number 37. And further, he gives the reference that Jasyangri pankajarajo khilalokapalai maulyatamay bhutamupasita tirtham Brahma bhavohamapi jasya kalaha kalaya srishodvahema chiramasya nipasanam kvaha. What is the value of a throne to Lord Krishna? The masters of the various planetary systems accept the dust of his lotus feet on their crowned heads. The dust makes the holy place sacred, and even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lakshmi, and I myself, who are all persons of his plenary person, eternally carry the dust on our heads. This is also another beautiful pastime narrated in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Lord Balaram, he glorifies Krishna's position. This is that particular pastime when Samba, Krishna's son, he kidnapped Lakshana, Duryodhana's daughter, from the Swayamvara Sabha. When Samba kidnapped Lakshana, at that time, Karna and other members of the Kauravas, they actually fought with Samba, and Samba got defeated. Then they arrested Samba and put him into the prison in Hastinapur. When this news reached Krishna, then Ugrasen, Uddhav, they actually discussed and they thought, well, this is not a good practice that Vrishnis and Kauravas should fight. So just to not to pick the quarrel between the two parties, Ugrasen and Uddhav and some others, they went to Hastinapur. And they proposed that, well, whatever has happened, please release Samba. Duryodhana became very angry. He said, what? Huh? You Vrishnis, you don't understand? Because of Kaurava's mercy only, you have been given opportunity to rule a small part of the kingdom. And still you dare to instruct us? Who gave you so much power? So Duryodhana was very much proud of being the king superior to the business. And that time, Baladev became very angry. That time, Baldev, he spoke this verse. What do you think that because Krishna's glory is being spread all over, and you think this throne which you have given to Krishna, therefore his glories are becoming more and more famous in the world? What kind of glory can your throne add to Krishna's glory, my dear Duryodhan? Try to understand. He's saying, Jasyangri Pankaj Rajo, Krilok Palai Mulyuttamai Dhrita Mupasita Tirtha Tirtham. See, there are great rishis, great devotees who worship the holy places of pilgrimage. Baldev is saying, Duryodhan, you must know these holy places of pilgrimage which are worshipped by these great souls. These holy places of pilgrimage have become holy because of Krishna. Just like we know, we have here Ganga. In Vrindavan there is Jamuna, right? Why Ganga and Jamuna are highly glorified as Tirtha Khetras? Because of their connection with Krishna. Huh? Then he says, what to speak of this? Not only that, Upasita Tirtha Tirtham, Brahma Bhavoham Apijasya Kala Kalaya. Duryodhan, you should know, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and myself are all portions of the plenary portions of Krishna. And you are thinking, you have given him this small person where this crown or this throne is glorifying Krishna, adding to the glory of Krishna. All the Lokopalas like Brahma, Shiva and others, they are always taking the dust from his lotus feet. And all these holy tirthas who are worshipped by the great souls, those tirtha kshetras have become places of pilgrimage by getting the dust from the lotus feet of Krishna. So you should not underestimate Krishna. That is the mood Sri Baladev Prabhu is explaining here, and particularly saying that yes, he is my master because I am Lord Shiva, Lakshmi Devi and Brahma. We are all portions of his plenary person. Then Ekaleshwara Krishna Ar Sabhabhitya Jare Jaiche Nachai Shetaiche Kare Nritya. Lord Krishna alone is the supreme controller, and all others are his servants. They dance as he makes them do so. Here we need to understand, because we are discussing Krishna's pastime with his devotees, who are the expansions of his Swarupa Shakti. Therefore, in this context, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is speaking that all these expansions of Krishna, starting with Narayan and other devotees who are his Swarupa Shakti, Prakasha, they are actually performing the pastime according to Krishna's desire. Krishna actually releases the pastime through his plenary portions of the plenary portions, or even his plenary portions. Not that the living entities are actually dancing according to Krishna's desire. That is indirectly. We need to understand here Krishna is directly involved, but with the living entities, he is indirectly involved. Living entities who are conditioned souls in this material world, who is making them to dance? Maya Shakti. Krishna's external potency gets involved, and makes them to perform or act in a particular way. So we are under the influence of the external energy of Krishna. And when we perform anything under the influence of material energy, it does not give satisfaction to Krishna. On the other hand, when the expansions of his Swarupa Shakti, they perform their play or their service unto the personality of Godhead, Krishna actually enjoys those pastimes. He actually relishes. That is how Krishna gets his enjoyment. Therefore, one very important conclusive understanding we must draw in this connection that, like Bhagavad Gita said, uh, um, uh, those who are Daivim Prakritimasrita, those who have taken shelter of Daivi Prakriti. What is that? That is the Swarupa Shakti, Radhini Shakti, you can also say. So those who are under the Swarupa Shakti, those who are under Radhini Shakti, they actually, their service is released by Krishna. And at that time, whatever they do is Krishna desires them to perform their service. That is how Krishna enjoys his pastimes. এই মতো চৈতন্য গোসাই একলেশ্বর আর সব পারিষদ কেহ বা কিঙ্কর. Thus, Lord Chaitanya is also the only controller. All others are his associates or servants. We have seen in Srimad Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime the personalities like Nityananda Prabhu or Advaita Acharya Prabhu. They are actually acting as superior to Krishna, right? In this Nityananda Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pastime, Nityananda Prabhu was elder to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Advaita Acharya Prabhu was also like, he was a very elderly person. So like his guru. And Gadadhar was his friend. And Srivas was his servant. So in that way, in Patitattva also, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has that kind of relationship. Some he is just reciprocating with in the mood of his servant, some as his friend, and some as his superior. Ei mata Chaitanya Gosai Ekaleshwar. In the similar way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the only controller. He is the only supreme Lord. And all others are his associates or servants. Guru Varga Nityananda Advaita Acharya Shiva Sariyar Jato Laghu Samarya Sabe Parishad Sabe Lilar Sahai Savalaya Nijakarya Sadhe Gaurarai Advaita Acharya Nityananda Duyanga Duyjana Laya Prabhur Jataki Churanga Advaita Acharya Gosai Sakshat Ishwar Prabhu Guru Karimane Pihata Kinkar. Chaitanya Charitamrita is very sweet scripture, very nice. His elders such as Lord Nityananda, Advaita Acharya and Srivas Thakur, as well as his other devotees, whether his juniors, equals or superiors, are all his associates who help him in his pastimes. Lord Gauranga fulfills his aims with their help. Sri Advaita Acharya and Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who are plenary parts of the Lord, are his principal associates. With these two, the Lord performs his pastimes in various ways. Lord Advaita Acharya is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although Lord Chaitanya accepts him as his preceptor, Advaitacharya is a servant of the Lord. Purport. Lord Chaitanya always offered respects to Advaita Prabhu as he would to his father, because Advaita was even older than his father. Yet Advaita Prabhu always considered himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. See, Advaita Prabhu and Ishwar Puri, Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master, were both disciples of Madhavendra Puri. He was also the spiritual master of Nityananda Prabhu. Thus, Advaita Prabhu, as Lord Chaitanya's spiritual uncle, was always to be respected, because one should respect one's spiritual masters, god brothers, as one respects one's spiritual master. Because of all these considerations, Sri Advaita Prabhu was superior to Lord Chaitanya, yet Advaita Prabhu considered himself Lord Chaitanya's subordinate. See, this is a very interesting point. In the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, they relish their relationship, their loving exchanges with the Supreme Lord under Leela Shakti. So at that time, you cannot say, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, the Supreme Lord, then how come he is respecting Advaita Acharya as his father? Because this is a manifest pastime, and Advaita Acharya Prabhu was also elder to, he was like his father. So in that way, he respects him. And that is also happening under the influence of Leela Shakti. Acharya Gosair Tattva Najai Katham Krishna Avatari Jeho Tarilo Bhuvan Nityananda Sarupa Purve Hayya Lakshman Laghu Bhrata Hayya Kare Rase Sevan Ramer Sevan. I cannot describe the truth of Advaita Acharya. He has delivered the entire world by making Lord Krishna descend. We understand when Advaita Acharya Prabhu, he saw the suffering condition of the living entities of this age of Kali, he became very much compassionate, and he worshipped Salagram with Ganges water and Tulasi leaf. That's how he called for the Supreme Lord. And while offering Ganges water and Tulasi leaf to Salagram Shila in Santipur on the bank of Ganga, he called out for the Supreme Lord. And it is said the Advaitacharya Prabhu roar reached the Vaikuntha, and it started shaking the throne of the Vaikuntapati, the Supreme Lord. And then he had to come down. So that's how, by the mercy of Sri Advaitacharya Prabhu, these pastimes of the deliverance of the souls in this age has begun. So Krishna descended because he was called for by Advaitacharya Prabhu. Nityananda Swarupa Purve Hayya Lakshman Laghu Bhrata Hayya Kare Ramer Sevan. Lord Nityananda Swarupa formerly appeared as Lakshman and served Lord Ramachandra as his younger brother. Purport. Among the sannyasis of the Shankara Sampradaya, there are different names for brahmacharis. Each sannyasi had some assistants known as brahmacharis, who are called by different names according to the names of the sannyasi. Among such brahmacharis, There are four names: Swarupa, Ananda, Prakasha, and Chaitanya. Nityananda Prabhu maintained himself as a brahmachari. He never took sannyas. As a brahmachari, his name was Nityananda Swarupa, and therefore the sannyasi under whom he was living must have been from the tirtha or ashramas of the Sankara Sampradaya. These are all titles like Tirtha Maharaj, Ashray Maharaj, Bon Maharaj, Bharati Maharaj. We have heard, right? These are all some title for the sannyasis. Because one of the names for the assistant brahmachari of such a sannyasi is Swarupa. Anyway. Ramer charitra sa dukher karan Swatantra lilai dukha sahena Lakshman. The activities of Lord Ram are full of suffering, but Lakshmana, of his own accord, tolerated that suffering. निषेध करिते नारे जाते छोटो भाई मौन धरी रहे लक्ष्मण मने दुख पाई कृष्ण अवतारे ज्येष्ठ हईला सेवार कारण कृष्ण के कराइल नाना सुख आस्वादन राम लक्ष्मण कृष्ण रमे अंश विशेष अवतार काले दोहाते प्रवेश সেই অংশ লইয়া জ্যেষ্ঠ কনিষ্ঠ অভিমান অংশাং শিল্পে শাস্ত্রে করে ব্যাখ্যান. As a younger brother, he could not stop Lord Ram from his resolution, and so he remained silent, although unhappy in his mind. When Lord Balaram, in form of Lakshman, he was engaged in the service of Lord Ramachandra, many times he had to just abide the order of Lord Ram because he was junior. Whatever Lord Ram says, he has to follow. Even though he had no other option, he just tolerated. Because he had no other option, that's why he tolerated. But he remained unhappy. Why Lord Ram had to go to exile? Lakshman didn't like it actually. Lakshman didn't like the idea of Bharat becoming the king and Lord Ramchandra going to the forest. At that time, he was very unhappy, but he cannot do anything. He had to just listen to Lord Ram because Lord Ramchandra said, no, I have to do that. Even you can see this Lord's pastime, Lord Ramchandra's pastime is so nice. When Sita Mata, actually Lord Ramchandra, he revealed to Sita Mata that Dasharatha Maharaj has instructed him, has ordered him to leave Ayodhya and go to the forest for 14 years. So when Sita Mata heard this, Sita Devi said, I will also come with you. Then Lord Ramchandra said, he said, well, my father has ordered me to go to the forest, so I should go. My father didn't order you to go to the forest with me. Then Sita Devi said, okay, your father has ordered you. My father also has instructed me. I should never leave the company of my husband. Wherever my husband go, I have to go with him. So this is the order of my father. So you follow your father's order, I will follow my father's order. And Lakshman, he doesn't have any other choice than just simply serving that was his mother's advice to him, and he also followed Lord Ramchandra. So even sometimes you can see he was not happy, but he just tolerated. And then Krishna Avatara Jesto Haila Sevar Karon. And then when he appeared as Balaram in Krishna's pastime, became his elder brother to serve him to his heart's content and make him enjoy all sorts of happiness. When this pastime, Balaram became the elder brother of Krishna, this time Krishna cannot order. Balaram has to order, right? When Krishna is in the Vrindavan, sometimes he would jump into the lake, sometimes he would jump into Jamuna, sometimes he would climb the trees, and then Balaram going to kind of chastise himself. Krishna, come down from the tree. Krishna, don't jump into the Jamuna. If you become so naughty, I will tell Mother Yashoda. Then Krishna will become very calm and quiet. He will listen to Balaram. So in this pastime, Balaram was actually, very happy to serve Krishna in this way. Rama Lakshman Krishna Rame Rangsha Vishesh Avatar Kale Duhe Duhare Te Pravesh. Sri Ram and Sri Lakshman, who are plenary persons of Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, respectively, entered into them at the time of Krishna's and Balaram's appearance. With reference to the Vishnu Dharmottar, the Laghu Bhagavatamrita explains that Ram is an incarnation of Vasudeva. Lakshmana is an incarnation of Sankarsana. Bharata is an incarnation of Pradyumna, and Shatrugna is an incarnation of Aniruddha. The Padma Puran describes that Ramchandra is Narayana and that Lakshman, Bharata and Shatrugna are respectively Shesha, Chakra and Shankha. The council is the hand of Narayana. In the Ram Gita of the Skanda Puran, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna have been described as the triple attendants of Lord Ram. Sayam Salaya Jyashtha Kanistha Bhiman Angsang Sirupe Shastre Karaye Vyakhyam. Krishna and Balaram present themselves as younger brothers and elder brothers. But in the scriptures, they are described as the original Supreme Personality of Godhead and His expansion. So the reference is being given Ramadi Murti Sukala Niyamena Tishtan Nana Avatar Makurud Bhuvane Sukintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramah Kumanjo Govindamadi Purushantamaham Vidami. From here we will continue in the next class. Now we can take questions and comments from the devotees. So devotees, now you are free to ask any question or comment and doubts for the clarification you may require in the class. Please, you can ask the question now. Yes, Silas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and pranams, Yogesh. Thank you for a beautiful class. Just wanted to understand the pastime that you read regarding Lord Balaram effectively enlightening or instructing Duryodhana about who Krishna is. This clearly happened well before the Mahabharata. And Baladev was to some extent Duryodhana's guru. to some extent, I guess, in at least the Leela. So Duryodhana's idiocy was, despite being told by his guru who Krishna is, he still didn't accept that. Is that part of the Leela? Because Duryodhana is also, should we consider him also as part of the eternal associates of Krishna coming down for Leela, or is he a Jivatma Dushta of some sort?
I have no comment. I have to see that, then only I can say anything. I don't know. No.
Yeah, but it is incredible how, despite Lord Balaram telling him who Krishna is, he still ignores it. It is just incredible how.
Even though Arjuna was an eternal associate of Krishna, but he is speaking from Dharma Shastra and telling Krishna what he should do. Not that unnecessarily he orders Arjuna to unnecessarily become involved in this mass killing in the Mahabharata war. Right? You can see. So everything, definitely there is some plan behind by Krishna. So what he wanted from Duryodhana, that detail maybe I need to see more, commentary of the Madhvacharya, then understand. We can discuss. It requires a lot of research study, Prabhu. I need to see this.
No problem. Thank you, Prabhu. It's
But
wonderful.
definitely there is some plan behind. Krishna is always.
This part of the CC is very sweet because it mixes in Lord Krishna's pastimes. Krishna Das Kaviraj nicely brings in and merges both with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes with Bhagavatam as well. So it's really nice. It's very sweet. Thank you.
No, that's why you see, Prabhu, you are discussing other day. Some devotees have started in the meantime doubting the authenticity of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. But Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has never compromised on the Siddhanta aspect of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Even though he has written in the Bengali Paya form, but all the conclusive understanding from the Upanishads, Veda, even Bhagavatam are contained in the narrations of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Therefore, from time to time, you can see whatever he narrates, he would always quote the authentic scriptures to substantiate his narrations. So that's why, yes, it is very relishing, very relishing. In fact, whole Chaitanya Charitamrita is very, very, very much relishing for the devotees.
Even though it's much more detailed, it's actually I find it really enlivening and almost easier to follow and digest than Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is quite complex. Time, place, and circumstance. There's no sequentiality here, whereas Krishnadas Kaviraj Maharaj is really laid out everything very, very nicely, very clearly. So it's very it's much more complex, but it's easier to digest.
You're right. You're right, Prabhu.
It's very relishing. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dear devotees, so we'll complete our session today here. Ekhane rahila grantho amrita lahari badana bhariya sabe balo hari hari. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Chandra Prabhu, Dandavad, Hare Krishna. Jara Chaitanya Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.